Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode. This is episode 34, and in today's episode I'll be rating all the classes that I have taken so far in PT school, not including musculoskeletal 1 and neuromuscular 1 just because they are classes that I'm taking right now, and I've also excluded professional issues 1 and professional issues 2 just because they were such short blocks. So far I have taken basic sciences 1, basic sciences 2, basic sciences 3, and medical issues. These names might not sound very familiar to you depending on what school you're going to or what school you're interested in, but the basis of these classes should be the same. So I'm going to take a class and rate them in 5 different categories. The first category is practicality. How much of the content translates to making me a better PTA and how fast can I apply it in real life. And the next category is fun, basically how much I enjoyed it. Third category, easiness. Actually, none of these classes were really easy, to be honest, but more like how doable was it. And the next category is fairness. Did my grade really reflect my effort? And if exams and PBA questions weren't very direct and straightforward, I docked points on this category. And the last category is importance. How much of it comes back in later classes throughout the rest of PT school. Each category is worth 5 points, and I'm going to average the score at the end of each class. Alright, so we're starting with BS1, Basic Sciences 1. BS1 was basically anatomy boot camp. It was the first class that we had in PT school for the first 10 weeks, the first summer. The entire morning we're in the lecture room just trying to understand the concepts, trying to learn them, and in the afternoon, the entire afternoon we're in the Cadaver lab, basically applying what we've learned in lecture in finding the anatomical landmarks in our cadaver. And after that, we have a quick dinner and then spend the rest of the evening pretty much trying to absorb what you've learned throughout the day. So it was a little rough. Alright, so practicality gets 5 out of 5. Anatomy is the basis, it's the foundation of all the courses that it's going to happen after that in PT school and even afterwards. So it's very practical. You can start applying the knowledge immediately as well. Was it fun? Not at the time, to be honest. If I can go back there as a TA and not have to worry about the grade that I'm going to get in that class, I would definitely enjoy it more. So that category gets a 3 out of 5. Was it easy? Definitely not easy. Tons of stuff to memorize, like I said. The muscle cards, nerves, innervations, arteries, veins. So it wasn't easy. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. Was it fair though? It was definitely fair. I mean, most of the concepts were pretty straightforward. It's not like physiology or microbiology where you have to understand the logistics of what's going on. You just have to straight up memorize. So if you put in the work, you will get a decent grade. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. And last but not least, importance. Definitely very important. Like I said, it's probably one of the most important classes that you'll take in PT school, so I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. So if you sum that up, anatomy is going to get 3.8 out of 5. Alright, so moving on to BS2, Basic Sciences 2. This was a tough course for me for many different reasons. I was burnt out like I have never been before by the end of this course. In BS2, we learned neuroanatomy, pharmacology, and basically all the major organs, and really dived deep into tissue and systems level of our body. And we also learned different pathophysiology. Practicality, I want to give it a 2.5 out of 5 because a lot of it was really concept based. It's kind of like an undergrad course like microbiology, physiology, except it's much harder than that. So although these concepts are very important, I felt like I couldn't really apply them there and then. It wasn't very fun for me. Like I said, this class was very lecture heavy. Some of the days we would just have straight 8-hour lecture days, which was pretty much a torture for me. So I didn't really like that. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. Was it easy? It is doable. I would definitely review the lecture material that night before it gets stacked up, because that could happen if you just miss a day and you don't want to go down that road. For easy, I would give it a 4 out of 5. And also, same for fairness. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 because, like I said, if you put in the work and really try to understand the concepts and material that they throw at you, you'll get a decent grade in exams. Importance, it definitely comes back and it is important, but it's not the basis for all the classes like anatomy is. So I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Alright, so if I sum that all up, BS2 gets a 3.2 out of 5. BS3, Basic Sciences 3, I made a video specifically on this course actually, and I talk about what we cover and what I liked about it. If you want to check that out on my channel. But what this course basically covers is a lot of hands-on skills and clinical skills like upper extremity, lower extremity screening, range of motion, manual muscle testing, reflex testing. So naturally it was a lot of more labs than lectures. Practicality wise, it was great. These hands-on exams and skills we learned are something that can be applied immediately to assess the patient and start thinking about how to progress them throughout their rehab timeline. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. It was also super fun because I think I mentioned this before in my past videos, but I'm a kinesthetic learner. That's why I like labs so much better than lectures, although I think they're both very important. So hands-on labs are really my thing, and it made me think, whoa, I'm finally getting to apply what I learned. So fun gets a 5 out of 5. It was also relatively easy and fair as well. 5 out of 5 on easiness, but I'm also going to give it a 4 out of 5 on fairness. Importance gets a 4 out of 5 because skills like manual muscle testing and measuring range of motion, sensation testing, they're all foundational basis of clinical skills that you'll utilize throughout PT school and even afterwards. So Basic Sciences 3 gets a 4.6 out of 5. Okay, so the last class is Medical Issues. For those that are interested in going into hospital settings or working in acute care as a physical therapist, you'll love this class. We learn how to work with patients with surgical conditions in various hospital practice settings like the ICU or general medical or surgical units. So burn patients, amputees, and there's a lot of lines and tubes in this class. Practicality, I was a little disappointed that we didn't get to shadow PTs at hospitals like we would have if it wasn't for COVID, but I mean, I also understand that. So we were supposed to work with actual patients and supposed to practice the skills we learned on actual patients, but we couldn't really do that. So Practicality, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. It was a fun class, also a lot of hands-on labs, and having to work with patients that have medically complex problems, there were lots of things to keep in mind when working with them. So it definitely got stressful at times. So for the fun, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Wasn't a very easy class, but like I said, these patient cases were very detail oriented, and acute care was a whole new domain for me. So I'm going to give this category another 3.5 out of 5. It was fair though when I practiced hard for the PBAs, and if I prepared for the lecture exams, I was able to get decent grades. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. And I think if you're going into acute care, like I said, and want to practice physical therapy in hospital settings, this class is crucial in building that foundation. So I'm gonna give this category a 5 out of 5. So MI gets a 4 out of 5. Alright, so today I've rated all the courses that I have taken so far in DPT school. I hope that was helpful for anyone that are curious about what they're going to be learning or what their courses are going to be about. It's not like undergrad where you can pick courses depending on the reviews of past students. But I mean, this is something that I feel like it's worth sharing. So if you guys have anything that you want to share about the courses that you've taken in PT school so far, I would love to hear it. So if you can just leave it in the comments below, or if you can just Instagram DM me, it's jkane_pt, that'd be cool.